the Orcs planet.
I mean, you almost done that intro.
Tried.
Anyway, so we've just come back from E4. It's what, like 2 days? We've had a couple of days rest.
E4 of what, Sammy?
E4 of Empire. God, I mean, they're going to read the title. They're going to know where it's from.
Just say the whole thing. You know, someone might have never watched our videos before.
All right,
They might have no idea what we do.
Okay, do you want? How about you do the full title with the full year?
We have just come back from Empire LARP.
I think you'll find it's Empire LRP. You're ruining it.
Anyway, I'm feeling the negativity. Let's spin this back around.
Sorry, Sammy.
Because what do we not do?
Right.
What do we not do with this one?
Knots.
We don't do knots here. We're going to do positivity.
We are
What?
a wholesome creature bunch.
Oh.
Give us your first favourite moment from Empire E4.
My first favourite moment is even before the game started. We got to make a proper little chapel in the Orc camp, which was really, really nice. Dennis cleared all the front of the camp by the pit, and I built a little shrine, and we made a little altar, an area where all the preachers could have their littles. That's a word I'm saying a lot. They could have their meetings and so forth and such on.
Is that so that you didn't have to commandeer some like random tent with all the Imperial officers or whatever?
No, it was just we wanted a nice little area to do stuff in, so we thought we'd dress the camp appropriately.
Cute.
And it was very cool. It looked really, really nice. Everyone put a lot of effort in. There was lots of additional stuff that made it look really good. And I think that's the best that area of the camp has ever looked.
Yeah. You do realise though, you say that you built it like a shrine, a church. You know, like everyone was gambling around that for like a good like 4 or 5 hours.
I mean, gambling is quite prosperous.
It is prosperous. You know
so,
what I mean?
well, for someone.
Yeah.
Not for everyone.
For someone who's good at dices.
As I found out.
Whoever wins
She
is
lose
obviously
money.
the most prosperous. So
Not
it's
there.
win-win, right?
Somewhere else.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Alright, go on in.
Is it my go?
It's your go.
That's my first one.
Woo! Where should I start?
At the end.
At the end. I can't remember which one I said last to you earlier, Sammy.
Can't remember. I'm just throwing things out there. Just pick one of your 3.
I don't want to pick the best one.
We'll pick the worst one then.
I'm trying to remember what they are. I should have made notes.
You should have. You've not been vigilant.
You're learning a bit about the Preacher game, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Right,
I'm
Sammy.
getting in.
Sammy,
you
go.
Alright, so one of my favourite moments was the roleplay from the Sunday battle. So yet again, as other events, I'd been made sergeant, it was all cool. So I was told that I had to be up earlier and I had to be at the Sentinel Gate for 10 o'clock. So I had to put armour on, everything like that. Got down there, ended up having, proper talks and things like that. And then ended up doing a lot of roleplay with Jan, like going into it. And then there was a whole...
Like your pre-battle, getting ready.
Yeah, like, G'ing up and things like that. Yeah. And then, we've gone through. The battle is just hellish. Like, you've got everything going wrong, left, right and centre. And just trying to pick everyone up because, you're just having lines upon lines. One person goes down, you throw him back, someone else goes forward. And it was just that on repeat for so long, and everyone was just getting beaten down and beaten down. And there was so many different orders coming in. And Jan was just like, we need reinforcements. And Rag had already gone and he wasn't there. And I was like, right. And I could see the Field Marshal in the fort because he was standing on a little thing to be able to watch all of the battle. Well, it must have been cool. So I've gone, right, stormed over there, all super angry. And go up to him, just go Field Marshal, and he goes, 1 second. So he's carrying on talking to someone. And I'm there just kind of like getting more and more like, annoyed. Pushing my chest out a little bit more than usual.
Pushing your little Rory face out.
Pushing my little... and then I go over to him and I'm just like, we need reinforcements. He's like, everyone needs reinforcements. And I just looked at him and this was like must be the coolest thing I've said as an orc, and I was so worried after I said it, but I turned around and just looked at him. I was just like, yeah, but everyone, the rest of you get one go. The rest of you get multiple goes, but we only get one. And and then turned around and walked away. I could hear him saying something. Oh. But as I walk away, I'm just like, I'm in trouble.
Oh, that's a good
one. Oh, no.
Oh, no, I'm going to be in trouble. And fair dues, I don't know the guy's name.
Connor.
Was it Connor? Oh, okay.
I'm guessing Osric was the field marshal.
I think so, yeah. And he personally brought over reinforcements. And he just looked at me, he's like, I'm trying. And I was just like, no, thank you. And then gone off and done what he did. And, the whole coming back and going to military council and dealing with the loss of the free Iron Tide that died, and kind of just all of that stuff that involved with that Sunday battle, just the role play aspect to it, more than the fighting, was just incredible for me, because I think every time I've ever gone to a battle, it's always been more about, how many monsters can I put down, or how cool can I look while I'm out there. It's never been overly thought about on the role play of all of it. So this one for me was just an amazing way to finish the end of the year, because that battle was it was hard, but there was just so much good organic role play that came out of it.
It was kind of. I would say it wasn't quite as cool a battle as the fort.
No,
it just kind of felt like we were getting that absolute S word kicked out of us.
I think the fort was cool because of the way that made us feel, because of the physical side of it that was happening. But this one felt more because the role play that was coming from it, and I think that's where the two different. I think at all 4 fights, those two would be the better two, in my opinion. Just for one being the physical, and then this one being the more role play based one. Mm. So yeah, the Sunday role play was one of my favourite moments. Over to you.
Okay, so I've remembered what the last
well done.
one was. Give us a round. It is, quite.
We can stop.
Quite an achievement.
Go on.
On Saturday afternoon, I popped down to the loo, and I was getting pretty nervous about pilgrimage and stuff, and it was kind of just getting to be sort of almost sunset time. So I was getting pretty kind of have to do stuff soon. And Atla caught me as I was coming out of the loo. No, as I was going into the loo, she was like, "Oh, by the way, Vaco wanted to talk to you." I was like, busting for the loo. So I went out of wee, and I came out, and I thought, I wonder if he's still in there. So I went over to the hub, and saw my boy Usko, and so I bimbled around until he told me where to go. Found Vaco, who was doing. He was talking to someone, but he stopped and was like, "Oh, I've got something for you." And he was like, "I got these sticks out that I gave him before." It was earlier in the event. I'd given him some sticks that I got off my first pilgrimage. Grauka gave them to me, and I got them hallowed to loyalty by Vaco. And I'd given them back to him earlier in the event because I realised the ribbon had expired. And I happened to pass him, and I was like, "What is it?" So I gave him back to him, and he was just doing the roleplay for that. But then, he put his hand on top of mine holding this thing, and we were pretty quite close, role-playing, and then he just randomly testimonied me, which is where you put, a priest can put, words on your soul.
Yeah.
And it's so cool! It's the coolest thing ever! But I was hearing a lot of Druge, so I kind of freaked out quite hard for reasons that I have spoken about in games with specific people.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go into it too deep on here, but it was really good and quite intense. Thanks. So, sorry, I've got loyal confidant written on my soul, which was picked by Atla a couple of seasons ago.
So, you know that situation, you know when you told me what happened? I go marching to go and find Usko, because I thought you said Usko. So I go up to him, tap him on the back and go, "Oi, what are you doing?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" I go, Did you mark us on?" And he's just like, "No." And I'm just like, "Did you know?" Because I heard. And he's like, "But why would I do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, but..." And he's like, "No." And then you were over the other side. He pulled you over, and you were just like, "No, it's Vaco, not Usko." And I was like, "Okay." Just walked away. I was like, "Well, I screwed that one up, didn't I?"
Bless.
All right,
It was really cool. It was a nice little characterful bit. Anyway.
Matthew?
You happy with that?
Yep.
So I realise I'm having to get more and more careful with the stuff I talk about that I do in game.
Hence why I just didn't say all the stuff
Yeah,
that was happening.
but so I had about 9 things that were really, really nice. This event that happened to me, and of those 9 things, only 3 I can actually talk about because I don't feel it's fair speaking publicly about what happened. They were really, really cool, characterful moments, and if you were there at the time, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't want to take away from the sort of privacy of those things we did.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, first of all, I've got a little honourable mention.
Well,
Because this ties in with my one thing.
okay.
So I got a really nice little gift off Usko. It was just a little, what's it called? Like, not an effigy, but we just get like a little
Stick man?
thing. It's not a familiar, but there's a different word for it. It is over there.
Sammy, you could get
I don't know what they're called. It's like a little. Well, it's not quite a totem, but
If you paused a second, I'll just do a tasty jump cut.
a tasty jump cut.
I'll do a tasty jump cut.
Can I clap?
Do you want to clap?
Can I clap myself out?
Yeah, you can clap. We can all clap together. Right, 3, 2, 1. There you go, tasty jump cut.
Look at that! It's the thing. So I've remembered what the word is for these, but Sammy won't let me say it. It begins with an F and ends in a etish.
Oh, I wonder what it could be.
But look, it's a little feather dustery thing, and I had it on my belt, and it jangled around, but because the clip is at the top where it sort of holds on to the thing, it kind of came off and it fell on the floor, and luckily someone told me about it. So I just sort of kept holding it like this, and people seemed really, because I had my paperwork or like my book in my hand, and I was just like fiddling around with this little feathery doodad, and it weirded people out because they didn't quite know what it was.
Fair play. I'd be pretty weirded out, to be fair. I can see it.
Yeah, but anyway, this isn't the proper doodad.
I almost lost my present from Usko as well.
Oh no!
Oh,
My
alright.
bones fell off.
Hold on a minute, Usko. Do I not
But
get
don't
a
worry,
gift?
it happened in my tent, so you don't need to pay attention to it. It's not important.
But-
They fell off in my tent, luckily. There we go. That's all.
So the actual moment I want to talk about happened in Senate, and it happened before the Friday night Senate. So me and Zerk and I were hanging around the front door, waiting for all the senators to come in, and one of them came up to me, and we were having a chat as a group, and we were talking about this and that. Excuse me. And then Tog came along, and we had a bit of a little quick moment. And then me and this certain senator had an interesting conversation that cemented my thoughts for what I wanted to do this event. And it was quite a turning point in the event for me. And they spoke about stuff, and I spoke about stuff, and then they gave me a gift. They took a little thing, a little token off their belt, and they gave it to me, and it represented something so profound and big that was just so. It was such a touching moment that that person was prepared to offer such like a huge memento, or something that meant something so much greater than just a little gift that it sort of personified is the wrong word, but represented is the better one.
Yeah.
And so usually when I get gifts, I try and give something back at the same time, because I've got a lot of just random crap on me. But it's all stuff that means things to Fal. And I'm not that precious about keeping hold of them, because they're items of worth. They're supposed to create stories. They're supposed to be around more than one person to gain the stories of all the things that happen to those people along the way. And I had a particular item on my belt, and I thought it was appropriate that I, in that moment, gifted that to said person. I'm going to do one of those really annoying things where I end up naming them, like, at the very end of the story, accidentally, and then it's just going to waste the whole anonymity, ruin the whole anonymity thing.
Okay.
But anyway, I digress. The trouble is, to get that thing off my belt, I had to basically get Zerk to undress me.
Oh.
Because they're all attached so well. I've got lots of little D-rings on the main belt that holds my wall skirt up, and everything gets knotted to them because it's a permanent fixture. Or it might have been Tog that undressed me. Anyway, I had to pause the really nice, profound conversation we were having. Had to turn around to the main building and said, "Zerk, I need you to undress me." Oh, it's bedtime.
Bedtime.
Oh no.
Bye, guys.
And him and Tog came and untied the thing off my belt, and I took it off, and I gifted it to
said person,
my friend that I was talking to, and I hope they understand how important that gift was. I hope they realise what it meant to Fal and what it should mean to them. And like I said when I gave it, hopefully they will wear it at important points in their character's journey, because that way it gains worth by being around that story. And then in theory it will be able to get passed off in time to someone else, or back to me, or it'll get lost and it will surface again in 100 years time or whatever, and it will have that story of both of us entwined. And in theory, if you can do a skein of years, you would be able to see that little moment that we had, and the moment where it came from, when it was created, and all the other cool little things that I've done and they've done along the way. And I think it really showed for me what a true item of worth was. It was something that you can give away freely so that it can gain worth apart from you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's one thing to keep an item on you at all times so that your story can be shown through that object, but realising that it's had enough stories from you and that you can then pass it to someone else, I think is such an important thing that a lot of us don't necessarily realise. Or maybe we do, but because it's our out of character object, you don't want to give it away, or it's a really nice central bit of your kit, so you want to keep hold of it. But I really like the idea that it's good to have items that you can have on you that you are prepared to gift and to give away, because that's what items of worth are. They're supposed to be things that move around and things that have their own journey,
yep,
separate from the person that they belong to, or that is the custodian of them.
Are you crying?
No,
Yeah,
you're crying,
already.
and they're crying.
It's like number.
That's such
It's
an
only number
emotional
2.
story. And so I've completely forgotten what my point was.
Your point was that you shared a special moment with a special person,
Yeah.
and you gifted something was gifted, and they actually meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
Because sharing items of worth is a big part of our culture in game.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think that was a much nicer way of putting it than me just turning around saying I think that probably needs the context of the items. But never mind.
No, I don't think it is. I think the person involved knows exactly what I'm talking about.
So to that person,
Congrats.
thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Second one, or is it me?
It's you,
Oh, it's
matey.
me, isn't it? Oh. Okay. Second one. Second one's an emotional one.
Oh,
I know. Me bringing an
Oh.
emotional tale.
I know what this is going to be.
You know what this is going to be.
Yeah, but say that anyway. Go on.
So, this event, it was another kind of bit of a kick in the teeth for Ball in losing people. Now, ever since day one, of me going to Anvil as Ball, there's always been day 2. Day 2 has always been part of the gate renders, but he always does pit stuff. Now, from the first moment that we started doing pit stuff, and it was around about E2 of my first year, so last year, we started working together. We formed an in-character friendship and everything, and it was kind of along the lines of while I was going further and I was, becoming the champion and being Scar and everything like that, there was always him there working alongside me, whether it be training what was Oak at the time, or it was being a part of what we've called the 6. What was the 6 pit fighters that went over to Dawn to help them create a house, what would be Lupo's house. And it was really difficult because there's only 3 people left of the 6 now. And I think that was a big kind of kicker to him. And me and Tanis, who plays Day 2, had 2 really kind of emotional moments that day, because we knew he knew. I'm not going to go into it because that's his own personal role play and yada yada yada, not spoiling. But he knew he was going to die, so it's terminal, isn't it? That's the correct way of putting it. So I went over to him and I said, "What's going on?" And he just looked at me and he kind of just shrugged his shoulders. I said, "All right, let's go talk." So it was me, him, and Dredge, what was played by Cal, and we just sat down in the pit. There was no one else around or anything like that. It was really quiet, and we just kind of told stories, and we laughed and we joked and everything like that. And it was in the middle of it, I just remember looking at him and just going, "You always have to be special, don't you?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I've gone, "You always have to be the first person to go a certain way, don't you?" What obviously ties into how he died, but I won't go into. And he just looks at me, and I'm just going, you always want to be, better than everyone else. And then we all just break out into hysterics. It was funny and everything like that. And then the last interaction, what was really it was very hard as well to kind of roleplay. She did, I felt it a little bit. Was me? So me and Lee had to go up to do our bouncer work. So I was just going off, so it was about like 9:30, 9:45. And I said, right, I've got to go. And I said, I'll try and come back before the end just to see you one last time. And he goes, oh, well, this, that and the other. And then put our heads together and that. And I just said, thank you. And, he gave me some money to put towards the pit fighting stuff. And yeah, I just said, I'm going to miss you. And then I went off, did my job, and then that was, by the time I'd got back, he was gone. And I was like, wow, that's a bit... Oh,
Sorry, we're listening.
Oh, okay. I thought I might have made him cry with that stuff.
No, Andrea's just trying to stab me.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I think that was quite an emotional little number for me. especially when I don't really deal in the emotional gameplay.
Yeah.
I'm more on the light-hearted, tee hee hee, let's have some fun, and a muck around.
Do you want to mention a little bit about Terminal?
Yeah. Basically, when you go Terminal, that's when you've reached the end of your death count.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's appropriate, you can choose to stay as Terminal, where you're like weakened, you can't fight, you can't really
do
anything except role play.
Yeah.
So.
But it's there to, if you die in a fight and you get brought back, then you can be on your deathbed.
Yeah.
To say goodbye, or you can.
Yeah.
You can be there, and I believe the rules are, once you've got to the end of your bleed count, unless you've been executed or some bit of roleplay that caused your death means that there's no way you could still be alive, then I believe you can stay Terminal until the end of the event.
It's really cool because it basically gives people an opportunity for like a movie death.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can go back and you can
Luke, I should have told you that there was.
Darth Vader is a sort of classic example. The kid at the end of what's it called? The really good one that I like watching for Vampire. Oh, never mind that film.
Yeah.
There's like a kid with a crown, and he holds on until
Outlaw
he gives.
King.
Yeah, he holds on until he can give the crown to
Chris Pine.
To Chris Pine.
Yeah.
And then he dies in his arms, and it's all cinematic and great, and everyone cries.
Yeah.
Until they die.
It's a nice little way to end up stuff, and I'm way more happier that he went that way, because they got so because the thing is, there was so many other people that role played with him before he died, like people from other nations that kind of came over and did a big old thing with him.
Yeah.
So I think it created a lot, but in some small ways that was kind of day two. It was the massive thing of I'm gonna make a big show. I adored the character. He annoyed the hell out of me. I thought he was an arse, but he was my friend, and I think that speaks volume about the person who day to himself, and Tanis, who plays the character. So yeah, that was kind of my second favourite moment.
Sorry, I'm undoing this because I don't like it.
That's fine. You do have to say your one though, Dan.
My second, right, so I've done number 3. Number 2.
Yeah.
I've realised that basically all of my favourite moments were like crushed into Saturday evening.
Okay.
Early, afternoon, evening. They weren't all of my favourite event bits, but
Okay.
I'm only allowed 3 apparently. The last. Actually, no, this one happened on Friday as well. It's kind of like an extended one.
Oh, so it's not Saturday.
So it's kind of a double moment.
A double moment, a double bill, feature bill. Go on.
Double moment. Yarn and Raw went for a drink on Friday, and I got absolutely blotto. It was pretty bad. We were out until about 3 o'clock in the morning.
I said back by 12.
We were dirty stop out.
I said back by 12.
It was me, Dave, Dom, George. I think there was a lot of people there. We met up with Daisy and her friends, and there was all the Ashbourne there, except for you.
I was out on a stag do, mate.
It was really nice. We went to Wise Guys.
Yeah.
And we had an evening of just actually role playing with each other.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. Like, Raw got to play Iron Tide for the first time ever. Because obviously she's blind. It would be way too easy for her to just fondle them until they said 6. So I never played Ironside before, and I lost a lot of money. I didn't lose that much actually, but I mostly lost Russ's money.
Yeah, but it's Russ. That's fine.
Oh, Russ was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I don't know if I should mention this bit or not.
I don't know.
But on Friday, towards the end of the evening.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to mention.
You're not going to mention it.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
All right.
But then like I one-upped what happened the next day.
Okay.
And now we've got a trip to Highguard coming up, so
Fun times.
he knows.
I don't know.
I don't want you to know.
All right.
So thanks, Dave, because that was really cool.
So we've each had 2 now.
Yep.
So let's do the honourable mentions.
So this weekend we were trading with Phil, a friend of mine, and Matt's. Oh yeah, he's a friend of yours as well.
Yeah. Oh, Phil. Yeah.
Good old Phil.
Good old Phil.
He's blacksmith, and he offered to take our stuff, and it was really good for us. He was on the main drag, right next to Moorish, so a lot of traffic, and he was basically using our stock to pull customers into his stall, which was really good for him. Yeah, the whole thing was just really good. So hopefully we'll be trading with Phil all the events that he's at next year.
Yep.
We might need to find someone to take us on the events that he's not there. If that's the case that happens.
I don't know. I thought we was doing honourable mentions. It all went sideways.
This was my honourable mention for Phil.
For Phil.
Or rather, this was Matt's honourable mention for Phil that he probably planned.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
But it's fine because we won't mention the company name because
oh yeah, Millstream Forge.
I meant ours.
Armchair Armourers. Who is this amazing company?
I don't know, but they seem to sculpt all of the Empire armies into wonderful medallions that you could wear.
Ooh.
And now they've got all the virtues that you can also wear.
They are
Shameless
quite
plugging.
lovely. Also, you should check out Millstream Forge.
Yeah.
Phil makes some really nice fire pits, and they are very reasonably priced.
He's a good person as well, and I think that's a lot of it as well.
I think we would be very remiss to say. I think it would be unfair if we also did not mention that we have been trading with Brian from Umber Armory for all the other events that we've been trading at.
Yep.
And he has also been really good to us. Circumstances just meant that we had to trade slightly differently this event. So, if you are watching, Brian, thank you very much for having us for the previous events.
Yep.
And I hope you did really well this last event just gone as well.
Fair play.
Should we do some actual in-game honourable mentions?
We will do. So I got quite a few, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, like Max was an absolute diamond. Mentioned me in his 12 breaths. I was just like, oh my god, getting a tasty mention was really nice.
Back to that.
Lucas, Russ, just yet again, as always, great role play with the guy, and just him and me kind of going backwards and forwards, and obviously next event, it will be me versus him for the pit fighters example. So it's kind of like the build up to that, but even though we're enemies and things like that, like within the pit, we're still like best friends in character. So it kind of works out really nicely. Let's say that. Also, Lee. Oh my god, the door work with Lee. So anyone who went to Gin Bar, obviously you can't get in because you're not part of 1%.
Yeah.
But anyone who went to the Gin Bar would have been stopped and bothered by myself and Lee. Have you got a ticket? No. All right, bye then, mate. See you later. Oh, you do? All right, pay stag behind me. That was amazing. Like, just, you know, what would be really boring work, like just standing at a door. Like, Lee just kept the constant roleplay going, and we just had such a laugh. And I can't thank him enough for just that really good roleplay on Saturday night. It's cold, you know, it was a little bit boring, but we just kept each other going, and it was phenomenal.
I mean, you're not really selling your future empire. Door money.
That's fine. If anyone needs
Door
a door,
person.
anyone needs a door protection, come get me. No, because that's metagaming actually. And then my last honourable mention, what kind of involves the door work, is Steve, who plays Bloodcrow Urdu. I got it right this time.
No, you did not.
No, did I not?
Or
Udu. That's it.
Well
Udu.
done.
You do. So trying to stop people coming through the door was really annoying, but when like about 10 orcs turn up and you're trying to stop them, and a really old orc tries to keep scarpering into the front, you literally have to keep putting him outside.
I don't think Udu's that old.
He's quite old.
He's not white.
No.
He hasn't gone white.
He's nearly there though. Steve was absolutely amazing, and I can't thank him enough for the work that he did as Udu.
Am I allowed to talk now?
You can go now, yeah.
Excellent. I've got oddly enough, Steve is also one of my honourable mentions.
Yeah.
Because we had like a little moment of trust and shamaning, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Thanks. I also had I had a chat with Shitesh after pilgrimage about the testimony and a lot of other things, but like we're kind of like growing up as well. The Bloodcrows and the Ashbourne are buddy copping out. So thanks for all the opportunities, even the ones that I completely missed. So sorry, Maddie.
You just didn't see them.
I just didn't see it coming. Jordan come and found me so that they could get dedicated to Pride.
Yeah.
Which was really cool because that was something that Raw was kind of pushing for, but like we haven't really had that much time to hang out.
Yeah.
At all, which has been a bit.
That's the
wanky.
Marcher.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Red dress, hat.
Always
hat.
calls me champ as we're walking by, and I was like, hello. You're the only person that does.
You're their favourite.
I know, but it's the fact is like that's the only person. So if I ever hear champ, I'm like, it's you.
That's Kenneth the mama. Kenneth's great.
Yeah.
What else?
Anyone else you feel deserves?
Yeah, Donald. Sorry, that took me way too long. Donald. Technically, I know you're not going to get it from him.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it. I thought you might mention him.
Okay.
Donald is the runner.
Yes,
Come back for a fight and nailed it. It was really cool.
He did. He put up a really good fight. I met him like years ago at another LARP. So that I had already had some interaction with him before, like out of character. So when it came time to fighting, like I trust this guy. Like I know him. I don't have to worry about him dropping me on my head. Like good, absolutely good dude. He got for stepping in the pit with me. He got something for courage, I believe it was.
So, I mean, don't big yourself up too much. It was really me and Yargol.
Okay.
The Herald of Fools came to talk to us about Thomas's endeavours.
Yep.
And basically wanted to know what we thought of what had happened and how he'd basically done.
Yeah.
And we told him. We told the Herald of Fools what we thought, and he's kind of being made. He's not being made an exemplar.
Yeah.
But he is kind of being put on a pedestal for his courage for basically owning
What happened.
he did.
Yeah.
Basically, which is really cool.
You don't really see a lot of people do that.
No,
like,
so he's
the way
kind
he's
of,
done it.
kind of on the road to getting something really special with that.
Well, I mean, I left him with something special.
So I don't know how many people actually saw, But when I like stooped down, like when they were all like all the medics were like crowding around him, I like pushed him out of the way a bit and like got my fingers all on his face, right? Copped a load of blood off of his like wound that you give him, and I put it on my posh coat. So there we go.
So I left him scarred. He now has a massive scar that runs the side down his face, and all of that blood. Like someone marked my mask with it as well. Paul's got like blood on his.
I like grabbed his face like that and like got loads of it on my.
There's loads on my wraps as well. There was a lot of blood.
It was good.
Fake blood, obviously.
No, that was cool. Sorry, on to you. That was my 3 honourables.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I just got groups of people. So first of all, obviously, the Skywise, all of you are my family. I love you all. You are the best orcs ever. I want to especially mention...
Better than you. Better than me, apparently.
Yeah. Obviously. I want to especially mention Pete. I'm really proud of how much you've come out of your shell and how much like you now sort of... How much more you interact with stuff going on. It's great. It's really, really good to see. I hope that doesn't sound awfully patronising.
It does.
It does. So I'm going to teach you how to suck eggs. And
no, to be fair, LARP is quite a difficult one to get around. So sometimes people are in their shells.
Yeah.
But you know, I've been there as long as Pete has, and he was very quiet in the beginning, and now he's coming out a little bit more. It takes people different times. We're not all going to be social butterflies and be able to go straight away. It takes people time.
Yeah. And
it's good that he's being able to do that.
I do want to be in Conclave when the nuclear bomb that is Skywise Leica eventually does get triggered and go off. Because that's going to be fun to watch. I'm going to take a bottle of port and some popcorn.
The throne isn't going to have to dissolve Conclave because it's just going to dissolve.
It's just going to explode.
So, other orcs. Obviously there are more than this, but of particular note, Snark, Udu, Yargul, Rurik, Raw, Bull, Stag. Oh no, I think that's everyone that I interacted with in particular. If there was more, I'm sorry, but
you got just as a kind of disclaimer in this one. If you interacted with us in character and your name wasn't mentioned in anything, it's not that we didn't enjoy it. It's not that we did.
That Foul hates you.
It's just that Foul,
you are
like,
my worst enemy.
Like me and Andrea just have really bad memories, and Matt he just doesn't like people.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't want to mention people, so we're sorry, guys.
I mean, Ed was a bit of a hothead, so I didn't really see him all events.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone from the Imperial offices, you are wonderful. My game would be nothing like it is without you. The fact that we have that tent that we can hang out in and do everything that's job related and everything more than job related stuff. It's just such a lovely atmosphere. I shed a tear when I walked in the first time on Friday and I saw that particular chair was empty and there was a painting with the shroud over it, and I realised this is an entirely different event and it's not going to be the same again.
Okay.
So Sammy, Aureliana, Lisa Lowell, everyone else but you in particular, just thank you for everything. And lastly, because there was another group of people on my brain list that I have now just wiped from existence.
Can I just swap like another little extra one?
Yes.
So I said all the bug crows, but I definitely want to say thank you to Janet, because when I was trying to find Sutesh Saturday evening, I found Janet, I found Gertrude instead, sitting outside the hall of, like sitting outside the Regio, and she fed me the leftovers for pizza just at the right time, and I really needed that, and it just like just recharged my batteries just enough, and I hadn't really drunk or eaten enough, so Thank you so much, Janet. Like the camp mum.
I forgot all the orcs beginning with T. Takor, Trosk and Tog. There you go. But my last group of people...
You're just going to mention everyone in Empire now, it's cool.
And everyone... it's exactly like when we're listening to stupid Radio 2 and the music quiz comes on and the guy's like, and who would you like to say hello to? And they say a massive list of people's names and then, and everyone who knows me, tacked on the end, and everyone does it.
Yeah.
But before I do that, I just want to say thank you to every candidate who has the same ambition as Fal. You are all amazing. I loved absolutely every second role-playing with all of you about that thing that we're all gunning for. And it's going to get heated. It's probably going to get quite horrible as the seasons go on. But you are all amazing people. I've loved role-playing with you. And role-playing against you in that way that we all seem to be openly honest about the fact that we all hope the other person fails in their endeavours.
I mean, it's honestly, it's quite good.
And I just want to say, no hard feelings, it's all good games. It's going to be brilliant, whoever gets what we're going for. And yeah, I just hope it's going to carry on being fun for everyone, because that's the important thing.
Grand.
Cool, right.
Last moments.
Last moments.
Anyway,
Alright.
Who's going first?
Shall I go?
I think you should go
I'll
first.
go first.
Nah, me.
Okay, so this...
Sorry, my first. I don't care. What
yours
you say,
yours is the best.
I'm having the last slot.
Okay, so mine is kind of... I knew this was kind of coming, but it... So after I'd become the pit fighting champion, or the holder of the pit fight as an example, I always wanted to know what was next. So what was decided was I wanted to build a school for pit fighters. So I had to start saving, I had to start finding money. So I got the wains that were needed, I got the money that was needed, I got everything that was done. But obviously to get anything built, you need a way leaf. And obviously nations only get a certain amount. But there's other ways of getting them, is by buying way leaves within the bourse auction. And I'd gone to Yargol, and I've gone, I don't know what to do. And very quickly, I mean, this was measuring like E2 or so, Yargol and Rurik were just like, you're showing ambition, you're wanting to do something. So they really helped me pushing forward. And then this event, we got what we needed, and now my pit fighting school is going to be built in Skokie. I got to announce it on the Senate floor. What was really odd, because I had never really gone in there. Bear in mind, so I'd gone up, and I'd gone up with my axe, as I always hold, and the guy who was at the gate, I think his name is it Bam Bam? Yeah. He goes to take it off me, and I'm like, what? And he goes, you can't. And I was just like, alright, cool. So he took it off, went back in, and I'm just standing there, I'm like, not really know what to do, and they go, right, you need to go into that little room there. So I go off into the little room on the side, and there's like quite a few people in the room, but there's someone sitting opposite. I'm like, guy looks familiar, I can't really remember, like OC looks familiar, and I'm pretty sure it was actually I think it's David from the LARP E4 podcast. I think it was him.
Cool.
Were you in there? Was it the second
on Saturday evening?
Was it Saturday evening?
Yeah,
it was him.
Yeah, he's trying to talk to me, and I can't really hear anything. I start worrying, so I start panicking a little bit. So like, what I used to get when I used to do theatre, like before going on stage, like get a bit nervous and feel a bit sick. And I start getting that, and he's trying to have a conversation with me. I'm like, yes, sure, okay. And I didn't know what to say, because I'm panicking about going onto the Senate floor and talking for the first time. But I think he was just like, you'll be okay or something. I can't really remember the conversation with him, but he was really good to me. Gone out there, spoke on the Senate floor about what it was, what we were building, yada yada. Loads of people were clapping. One guy started laughing, what I wasn't quite sure about.
Was it Will Talbot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just...
I didn't really understand why, and I was like, if I had my axe, fam. But yeah, then I went out, and then that Bam Bam like shook my hand, like asked me what my name was, and that. It's a really nice guy actually.
Yeah.
Stayed around for a little bit to kind of, I got into that part of Senate, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna leave straight away, and kind of stood around, watched how it was done, and then kind of left because I had to go do the door work. But just to kind of go from one goal to starting a new goal to then finishing it at the end of the year just is such a really nice moment, and I can't thank Matt and Jack. Liam was involved as well as quite a few people that were instrumental in me getting this, and inside and in character and out of character, helping with wording and things like that. And yeah, just it was kind of a culmination. It was just such a nice final moment of that year to enjoy. So yeah.
How long did you think getting the pit
was going to take?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to take about 2 years because of how much Wayne's cost.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, I didn't really ever have money, and it was only that I managed to get some that then led into getting others that then led into getting more, and it kind of just spiraled into somehow getting everything I needed, quite quickly. And it was just like, wow, okay, what I kind of designed to take me 2 years, I did in less than a year. So, just a really nice kind of way to finish it all up for me.
Nice.
So yeah, that's me done.
Cool. So mine similar Senate similar Senate relationally similar.
The same Senate meeting.
No, different one.
Different one.
Anyway, words to that effect. I had the opportunity to get unlimited powers and become Emperor Palpatine as Val. Sort of.
Not quite yet.
So one of the opportunities, it was yet another amendment to my title, and I took it to Senate because I was unhappy with what they were doing, and we put it to Senate basically to tell them off, to say, look, you are falling short in this area of leading the Empire. You need to pull your socks up, or you need to allow me to pick up the slack. And rightly so, they chose not to, because it is a lot of power, and as far as I was concerned in game, it was too much power to give a single title.
Okay.
It was basically the option to let one person elect 9 Imperial titles.
Okay.
Which is a lot of power.
Yep.
Because in theory, I could just elect my mates.
And they're not sort of weak.
They're not
sissy
small
positions,
titles.
They are weighty titles.
They are They are wider world affecting titles. However, in theory, what happens is the Senate divests its power to those titles, and it divests its power to me, so it still has a choice, because they could just choose not to vote me in if they didn't want me to have that power. If they didn't want anyone else to have that power, then they could not vote them in.
Right.
A lot of the people's arguments were, we don't want to give you this power because it might not be you in the role. Really, that doesn't quite work, because they should only be electing people who they want to have that power.
But I think that's quite a good recognition of.
Well, that's great for me. That's amazing
abilities.
for my ego. But it ended up being what I deemed was the perfect result, and that was, it was a complete tie. It was 16-4, 16 against, which means it failed, because it has to be one over the threshold, but it failed by default, which I think is the completely neutral ground. So I think it proved a lot to the Senate then of what I do and what they should be doing. and it felt like everything that happened said the right thing.
Yeah.
And it proved that even if, in theory, I didn't get what I wanted, I actually did.
So it was a decent outcome. It was either that, you getting it or it going to a tie is better than it not happening.
Yeah. It was nice that. It's nice you can have that level of debate in the Senate.
Yeah.
You can have that level of constructive conversation. And you can prove a point in a way that is quite subtle and powerful, I think.
Okay.
And in fact, if I had got that extra power, then I wouldn't be doing what... I think my whole event would have completely changed from there on.
Yeah.
But yes, that was it. As vague and menacing as I can be about these things that I get up to.
Cool.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm good.
You good?
You bring it home. You got a juicy story, bring it home.
Now for the grand finale.
This is going to be absolutely pants.
It really is going to be awful. Right, I'm going to put this down so I can actually concentrate.
Full concentration, look right there. Looking right in the eyes.
Right, so, this year, last year and this year, and kind of to a lesser degree the year before last year, I got to lead Pilgrimage, right? It kind of was a bit of a tie-off between me and Rakana on the first one, and then last year I did not really feel like I did a very good job. Although I am assured otherwise by everybody I speak to, I don't feel like I did well enough. So this year, stop it. This year I was like, okay, I am so glad that I made myself so busy before in last week, basically, because it really helped make me not sit down and overthink things.
Yeah.
Which was basically my problem last year. Was I overthought everything. I did not get enough sleep. I just worried about it the entire time, and I felt like I did a really, really poor job. This year, completely different. Oh, it was so cool. It was so cool. The thing that I spoke to Matt P about last year got taken on board, and Matt D and Chris got loads of torches, which everyone lit and walked with to Pilgrimage, which I turned round to look as we were walking through, and it was amazing.
I got slight horror movie vibes, but that's just me.
No, to me it looked really wholesome that everyone was lit up in the dark, all holding these torches and standing together. Yeah. It was so cool, and like I did like a speech and at the gate, and I opened the gate and I did a thing that no one saw. Anyway, I opened the gate and I did that, and it was really cool, and just so good. Like beforehand, the best pilgrimage that we'd ever had was like my first one, the first one I ever got to go on.
Yeah.
Right, which Reich walked us to a circle of torches, and we all sat in the circle and watched all these like rebellion orcs come through, and it was amazing. It was so cool. This time we walked into like I said earlier, the visions were very Druge based.
Yep.
And the scenes that were played out were so good that like I'm just going to talk to you. Like,
is he asleep?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
you
I missed
there.
it.
Oh, you weren't there.
I had to be
I'm
elsewhere.
gutted that you couldn't go, because it was so amazing.
It was really cinematic. I think that would be the easiest way to describe what happened was cinematic, because everyone who was a part of it, whether you were a player, like going to it and watching what was happening, to the crew who were performing the stuff that was going on, the people doing the smoke, people doing the drums, like the lighting, everything. It was just cinematic as hell, and it was definitely worth it.
It was so good.
I really enjoyed the year before, and I said to you straight out, really loved it. This year though, smacked out of the park. Was absolutely amazing.
Walking, right, so we started off at the Orc camp, and I tried to spread the word as much as possible that, like, I'd be leaving the Orc camp and walking down to the Sentinel Gate at 8 o'clock to make sure that everyone had a chance to get there, except for this guy.
Not this guy.
And pretty much everyone came along.
Yeah.
But, like, as we were walking down to the Sentinel Gate, I'd, like, bawling marched ahead and, like, started singing, and everyone was chanting and stuff. And as, like, we went through, everyone was stopping and watching us. And as we walked through High Guard, all the High Guarders got up and were like, the Imperial Orcs, and...
Do you know what was really nice?
So cool!
Was walking with the torches and the orcs at like really monotone, just singing "Burn It All Away." That was why I was talking like horror movie style, because I was at the back like watching it. So you're all of these completely kitted out orcs in front of you holding torches, and you're just like, "Oh, someone's gonna die." Do you know what I mean? But it was just such an incredible moment. So yeah, well done to everyone that was involved in that. That was ace.
This was 10 out of 10. The highlight of my year. In fact, I think this might be the highlight of my entire time at Empire. In 4 years of playing the game.
Hot damn.
I think that was like the pinnacle. And like before then, I would have said like, the Shackle Breakers naming ceremony. But this, I just felt I was riding a high. Like I did, like I say, I didn't really look after myself enough over the event.
Yeah.
I didn't eat enough. Didn't get enough sleep. I didn't drink enough water. Same old story for everyone, I assume. But like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a good time. You should be
It
proud of
was
yourself.
so good. I am also going to go on quite a bit about this, because there was a lot of stuff that stacked up to make it that good. I'm gutted. I am so gutted that Ed had to go home, because some of the things that we were saying to each other, that it was going to get dark. It was going to get really dark, and like I was absolutely convinced as he was doing the shaman roleplay and stirring up everybody's ancestors, I was absolutely convinced he was going to stab the shit out of me. So I'm like, as we're walking around, I've got my hand on my knife, because he was right behind me, and he was getting closer and closer, and like you could hear it in his voice. It was just getting more and more like brutal, and I thought any minute now he's just gonna jam a knife in my neck.
All the pit fighters got sent away.
It was so good.
We had to watch the doors.
Oh.
So I didn't get to see any of that part.
That was awesome. But obviously Ed did a silly and got hurt. So, please don't do that again ever. And I want a rematch.
Don't get hot-headed about it, okay?
No, I'm not. That was amazing. The other thing, I really want to say thanks to Alex, who, like, the reason I didn't go to Landsmeet was not because I was voting for Foul in Conclave, because I realised that I really needed to just sit down and talk to someone sensible about everything. And Alex like sat me down and we had like a really long chat where I basically explained everything. It was not, even though it was an in-character chat, it was really nice to set my head at ease, like out of character.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was really good. So thank you for that, and like helping me go through the logistics of actually taking everyone to pilgrimage. Where I admitted to Alex, like, I am not going to be able to see, because I knew that we would have torches. Someone tipped me off that we were getting torches, and I realised the time that it was. The thing about the contact lenses, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, is they're fine either in broad daylight or pitch black. I can see pretty well, right? Or like when it's dark.
Yeah.
When you incorporate a little bit of light, it glares off the mesh.
Oh, okay.
So I
it has to be all over.
absolutely cannot see a thing. And of course, torches. Everyone had a torch, so I couldn't even see like 3 foot in front of me.
That was good.
Which is kind of why we wound up walking the wrong way at first. Funny story.
Funny story. Nearly got all the Imperial Orcs lost.
Another thing, right, that I was nervous about. I was really nervous about it because of last year.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that happened last year was I looked to the ref to give me a cue as to where to go because I didn't know. I genuinely couldn't, because it was daylight. There were no real cues as to where to go to. So I looked at the ref and he just shrugged at me, and I was like,
Okay.
So this year, I was like, I'm not letting that happen. If we wind up walking the wrong way, then we wound up walking the wrong way.
Yeah.
And we will just do pilgrimage where I say. Then I could see that there was a big light in the distance.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, maybe that's it. So I started walking towards it, and then I go, no. Like, got in front of me. I was like, no, you need to go this way. And I was like, thank you. Sort of like did a sort of hard about face and went the right way. That was really good. I think the whole thing, PD just absolutely nailed it.
Yep.
Please do more of that again. What else can I say? Chris, thank you for putting so many people to help me actually like not fall on my face in the dirt, because that was likely. And it almost happened on the way back, because everyone sort of like was a bit more like somber, and no one. I sort of went towards the front, and I think I lost all the people that I was meant to be with.
Secret is I scarpered out before the end.
Yeah.
I missed the end of it.
The ending. Now
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it on here because I don't want
to spoil that.
I don't want human players to know
what
unless
happened.
they come and talk to the orcs about it. But oh my god, I feel like I was probably the only person in that audience that didn't see that coming. But I also didn't realise it was Tom. So thanks. I didn't look at his shoes, you see. So Pilgrimage was amazing.
Pilgrimage.
And I just come away from that feeling ridiculously cool.
Cool.
And then I went to sleep in the pit for 10 minutes because as I came out, it just hit me how absolutely knackered I was. Just like, I'm sorry to ruin it, but like, unbeknownst to me at the time, my favourite photographer, Oliver Facey, managed to catch us on pilgrimage, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We were just going through the Sentinel Gate as he happened to be walking past, and I'm going to go to that. So I didn't see him at all.
No, not that.
Very good.
We'll add
Thank
that
you.
on. Right, so
I can't wait for the
on that really positive ending, we're going to give you till the 30th this time round to put down your favourite moments of Empire E4. Next week we've got a bit of a juicy interview for them. It's quite good, enjoyed it. But until then, thank you very much for watching this, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.
Well, it's like a Marvel movie. You wait till after the credits and suddenly more stuff appears.
It's like, I was about to say, it's like a little addendum, and then I realised, I'll say appendage instead because that's the wrong word.
Can we not just say it's like a Marvel movie?
No.
Anyway, Matt.
So, we're going to have a lot of time to make more videos, and the reason we've not done a lot in LARP season is because it's only been about 6 weeks between each event. And with everything else going on, we've really not had enough time to do long form making videos or vlogs or anything. So, with that in mind, we are going to at least do a kit video, a kit breakdown video.
Yep, for all of us.
For all of us. So we one from me, or one from Fowl, one from Raw, and one from Bull.
We'll also have one from Blood Crow Aurora.
Oh yeah.
That's good to know.
Yep.
We are going to have some more making videos. We've got some props we're going to be making, and we're going to try and film them along the way.
Yeah.
I know Andrea's done a long video of making Usko's cloak.
Yep.
So that will be going up sometime in the future.
That's like a small movie. I've seen it. It's about 3 hours long.
Do you all know how many gigabytes?
How many gig is it? Tell them.
80 gigabytes of footage.
80 gigabytes.
To be fair, there's some of me making George's as well, so
we might throw that in.
But there's 10 minutes of George's compared to 5 hours of Usko's footage to go through.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine.
We're going. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, I'm just chatting shit.
Andy and I are going to be at Wassail, so we are hopefully gonna. Every event we've gone to, we've tried to vlog some of it, and
let's do it properly this time.
We've basically done the getting there video,
but then that's
where we filmed all of the stuff getting towards the event, and then we get to the event and we never have time to film anything. Sammy's always filmed another video, and we've never had a chance to us three just vlog what we're doing.
Yeah.
And by the time Sunday rolls around, you leave early, we stay late to pack down, and then we go and have a meal. So we've never had a chance to then do the wrap-up drive home video. So they've never really had any sort of... They've had the beginning, but they've not had the middle and the end. But hopefully, for player events, it might be a little bit easier to do stuff for, but we'll see.
We've also got someone who's actually capable of editing things on team.
Oh hi,
Okay.
She's Chloe Chaos.
No, it's James, mate.
What?
Come on. Amateur.
Oh no.
Get the two confused.
Oh.
Anyway, we're going to be giving you a lot more content, so make sure you keep an eye on the channel.
Yep.
Do the notification bell. Do whatever you feel is appropriate. But we will be aiming to do one video a week, and we ain't going to stop.
No.
We're going to keep going.
I've got a surprise for you, because you don't know about these yet. But I have got some stories that I am going to read out.
Oh.
Because I haven't had the time to do any of the Winds of War, and I know a lot of people really do appreciate me reading them out. I am going to endeavour to read them out for E1, because there is such a long time between them coming out and the event. I'm probably not likely to read them for the other events because of all the stuff I have to do to prepare my own event. However, if you would like to hear my voice a lot, if you would like to hear me reading some things, I've got some Empire, I guess it is fan fiction.
Yeah, we've got some fictions that have been written by some very nice people.
Yeah.
And they're really good, so we're going to read you those as well. If you have a fiction that you would like read out, send it to us. Send it to Sammy.
Yeah, send
Alright.
it to me.
And he will send it to Matt.
Yeah.
And Matt will look at it and
think about it for a long time.
think about it for forever. Because we were meant to sort of release these ages ago.
Yep.
But yeah, we might not be able to read all of them, but we will endeavour to read as many as we can.
So I think what
As
I'm
he
going to
can.
do is
Let's face it.
a bit like General Morgul's singing videos.
Yep.
Where Brian dressed as Morgor, and he did some videos of Morgor singing. I think what I'm going to do is similar to him. I will introduce the story or the fiction as me, and then do some sort of fancy editing cut, and then it will be Fowl reading the story.
We're going to do a jump cut.
So because they are in character...
Man's obsessed with jump cuts.
Because they are stories that could exist in game, I think it's going to be visually interesting for Fowl to be reading them.
Yep.
They're not going to be plot related. They are absolutely nothing to do with anything that happens in game.
Some of them...
They are just related to the world as it exists.
I think the idea is that they are going to be in-game fiction.
Yeah.
Right? Like, stuff that characters in the world could have written, and it's not, like, unheard of that you could have possibly have heard or read this story.
Yeah.
But it is going to be fiction. A lot like the Heroes of the Winter Sun magazine that Steph and Alex used to write. All of their little stories were fiction inspired by actual events. We've got the ones that we've already got are very much that format, and we would like more. So send them to us.
Well, actually, let's get one up.
I want
and we'll see.
all of your fiction, and if you don't give it to me, I will take it from the Empire LARP fiction form thing on Facebook.
Are we gonna send these guys home because it's because it's closing time at the pub and we're gonna miss it?
I'm not sure you're allowed to do that. But
well, I'm going to. Fight me.